Welcome to our morning show today on WRCO as we begin a new week with the morning show, and it's our monthly visit with Mayor Todd Coppernoll from the city of Richland Center. Hey, Todd.
Phil, how you doing, man?
Oh, I'm doing real well. Summer is flying, isn't it?
It does every year, doesn't it? It's
Yes.
funny. It really does get the same number of days as winter, but no one from Wisconsin will ever believe that.
Because it always seems like we don't have as many good weather months as we do bad weather months.
You know,
right?
it's interesting here, the things we do outdoors, we mostly jam them into 3 months, right? And that sounds terrible to us, and everybody's weekends are so booked in the summer. But that's kind of logical if you think about it. There are 4 seasons and there are 12 months, so each season should get 3 months. It's just that other places have more warm days and all of that than we get. And, you know, we get a little jealous sometimes when it's warmer somewhere else in the winter. But, you know, if you look it up, you can anytime you want. 4 seasons, 3 months apiece.
Right, basically, yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, summer celebrations, Thunderfest, seemed like it was well attended.
It was an excellent crowd, actually, and hot, humid weather, and definitely that. It was one of the warmer ones I can remember, and I want to give some credit here where it should go. There was a big crowd out there. The fireworks went great. The entertainment was really a lot of fun all day long down there. So thank you to Mick Cosgrove, Kent Adsit, and everyone who, and I don't have the full list of names, but everybody that was involved in the planning, the setup, and just the running of the event. Thank you for all the hard work every year. And also, I think I need to give some credit here to someone I think most of our people won't know what happened, and I'm going to leave the details to him because he didn't do it for attention. A lot of you know Mr. Levon Felton, who they know as Spanky Felton over in Viroqua. Yes, he's in the Viroqua area now, but he grew up in Richland County and graduated from Richland Center High School and has very deep family roots in Richland County. And I'll just say it this way. Thank you, Levon, for your charitable work that day at Thunderfest. I know what you did. Some other people do too. And you didn't have to. Thank you for what you did, Levon Felton.
Awesome. Yeah, he's about your era. Did he ever ask you to join the band or not?
No, he heard me sing and insisted that I not audition. It was one of those things. It's just a misunderstanding, I'm sure. No, Levon and I were in the same high school class, which was Richland Center 1985, and we didn't see each other for a long time because he went to Viroqua and I left the area for almost 30 years. And when we ran into each other about 5 years ago, we had a lot of fun catching up, and we've stayed in touch since. He's a great guy and just a lot of fun. You know, I've got so many Levon Felton stories. Anybody that needs a deal, when next time you go to Sleepy Hollow, come and see me first. I know some stuff from the early 80s.
Some blackmail. Yeah,
that's a harsh word, Mr.
40th class reunion coming up, too. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, end of the month, and that's pretty wild. You know, like everybody else, you say, how did we get here, right? They told us 40 years ago this would happen, and they weren't wrong. Yeah, we will be last weekend in July. The class of 85 will be getting together in town. Always fun, and we get, the 85 gets a great turnout. You know, other classes ask us how we do it, and there are 2 answers. They are named Peggy and Penny, also known as the Wallace twins, who have run the class of 85 reunions from the first one on, and they really put effort into it and communicate well. And a lot of our people, a lot of our class, they turn out. It's always a good time.
It's awesome. We'll have to alert authorities of that going on. Speaking of which, you know, you had a lot of great educators through your years at Richland Center High School. We recently lost Claire Haig, and I know you knew him really well.
I did know Claire Haig very well. Mr. Haig, as we all knew him, and Coach Haig to some of us. I don't even know how many years he worked for the school district here. A long, long time. And he was an educator, and he was a coach, and he was an advocate. He was all of those things. He's also a nice guy. And he was my Phi Ed teacher, my gym teacher, when I was in 5th and 6th grade. And then when I got to high school, and when people see me now, they always ask me what position I played in football. And had I played football in high school, there would have been an ambulance at my first practice. I was the skinniest human alive. Just a twig, short when I started high school, and skinny, tall and skinny as I graduated. And I ran on the cross-country teams. Back then, which means Coach Haig was my cross-country coach for 4 years in high school. And I just wanted to give him credit for his contributions to the community more than anything else, because he loved Richland Center. He'd moved here and stayed and really put his heart into Richland Center and Richland County, believed in us and in the possibilities in a small town, and loved the natural beauty of this area and participated in it. He was very athletic, jogger, bicyclist, all of those things. Just liked the nature and the scenic beauty of Richland County. I had heard Claire's health was not so good. The last time I actually spoke to Claire was probably about a year ago. I ran into him in Paul Corcoran's pharmacy, and thankfully, we had a really positive conversation about a lot of the guys and the girls that had been involved in cross country when he coached it in the early to mid 1980s here. And he wanted to know everything I knew about where everybody was, because some of them moved away and he hasn't heard from them. And he just soaked it up. Tell me about Jerry Huffman. Tell me about Jeff Felton. Where's Dave Trapon? You know, all of this stuff on down the list. You ever see Kelly Everhart? All these different ones. And remember Christer Solveig, the Swedish exchange student. He wasn't a good kid. And that was who he was. That's where Claire's energy was just a year ago. So best to his daughters, Polly and Abby, and to their families. And just a sincere thank you from all of us in the Richland Center community to long-term educator and coach, Mr. Claire Haig.
Indeed. He always tried to get me out on cross-country skis. I never quite made that. But
did he really?
That was another one of his passions, too.
Yeah, I think snowshoeing, too. I mean, he found something to do outside every month of the
season.
year. Yeah, he did. Yeah.
You and I are whining about the bad months, but
I know. Yeah, we were looking out the window going, man, look at Claire Haig out in that cold.
Exactly.
Strangely enough, he was in better shape than either of us, Phil.
Right. Speaking of the summer season, the Aquatic Center is off to a good run, and a lot of people showing up there, it seems like.
Definitely, yeah. That's I'm glad you brought that up. I really want to get into this, just to teach the public what's going on over there. So when it was built, it opened July of 2020, so we just hit 5 years. And the purpose, the people who sort of dreamed it up, fought for it, raised money, all those things, and got it done, what they were saying at the time is let's do something different and new for Richland Center for two main reasons. One is to give our people something to do that not everyone has. And the second one was to have something here that would bring people to town who otherwise aren't coming to Richland Center. Get some exposure for our businesses, our schools, and everything we are. And while we're also making sure the locals have something they can really enjoy that's new and unique. And as you remember, it was a split decision in town. Some people thought it was a great idea. Some people didn't like it. And again, I totally understand both points of view, no doubt. So here we are, 5 years in, and I wanted people to know what's happening over there. Most Mondays in the summer, I do a walkthrough, some Sundays as well. And I'll just walk in and greet people. Hi, I'm the mayor. How often do you come out here? Are you from town? No. Where are you from? Thanks for being here. Any questions about Richland Center? And in the last 3 weeks, just the last 3 Mondays, just a sampling of the communities that were represented in our aquatic center, both Chicago and Minneapolis. And those were both families that had stayed in B&Bs here. And in both cases, the ownership at the B&B said, do you know we have an aquatic center? Thank you, B&B owners. They didn't know it. And they don't have every minute of their day booked, and that sounds like fun. So they brought the kids down to, or grandkids in one case, from Minneapolis and Chicago. And when they found out they were talking to the mayor, they go, what else is here? This place is so beautiful here, this wooded area with the Pine River, and we're going to kayak that, we're going to this, and we're going to that. We went to the drive-in movie last night. What else you got? Love it, because I tell them what else we have. List off other things to do, businesses, everything, to people that are here for the first time. And also the other communities I have met in 3 weeks, 3 days: Verona, Lodi, Hillsborough, Muscadet, Avoca, Blue River, Middleton, Yuba, Dodgeville, as a sampling, have had people here just on the Mondays of the last 3 weeks. I always meet people from Viroqua. I've met Cross Plains in the past, and Boscobel. There's a parents group in Baraboo that comes over here every summer, and another one from Westby that comes down every summer. You could go to the Dells from Baraboo in a much shorter drive. You could go to La Crosse from Westby in a much shorter drive. And in both of those cases, they say things like, my kids are safe here. The kids have been in the pool 2 hours and I can see them from where I'm sitting. They say things like, I don't want to go to the Dells and pay all that money and stand in line. And the last time we went to the Dells, we got on 3 rides in an afternoon because the lines were so long, and I didn't like it because I don't see my kids and who's here and what might happen. And so the point is, the 2 main reasons it's there are for our people to enjoy it. They're doing that. I meet a lot of people from Richland Center who are there from all over town, and out there with the kids. The grandkids are just laying out in the sun or walking in the lazy river. All of these things that people do there. A lot of our people are there. But we get a lot of attention from all around this area. And some of these people will just come out and say, Richland Center has the best pool in southwest Wisconsin. They say things like that. And they say, we're so glad you did this. And this is what I really want people to hold. 2 points. Thank you, Richland Center, for using the Aquatic Center. If you haven't, please get out there. You'll love it. And bigger than that, in a different sense, as we try to gain traction with economic development and add to what we have here, understand that Southwest Wisconsin has seen it and taken notice, and they're coming. And when I ask these people from other towns, if we had not built this, if this aquatic center was not here, would you be in Richland Center today? It's almost 100% no, I wouldn't. I came here for this. That's a tremendous win. It's a tremendous win. It's why it was built. It's doing what it was there to do. So I thought people should know that. It's not just sitting there. It's doing what we need it to do. And then what I want next, what I'm going to push for next, and we're going to do next, is some more robust marketing of the facility with the information I'm sharing right now. Work with the park board, the park staff, tourism, city council, just make sure everybody hears as much of this as we can gather to make sure that we're maximizing. Okay, so now we have our people out having fun, make sure we're asking and answering so we know it's a great place to hear from locals, which we always need to do. And then when these people say, hey, I came from Verona, I came from Middleton, I came from Dodgeville, okay, make sure they hear what else is going on here. Before you leave town, you might want to swing over there. Hey, next weekend at our fairgrounds. That kind of stuff. So I just wanted people to kind of get an update on that.
It also provides job opportunities, many of the first jobs for the staff, the summer staff of the Aquatic Center, right?
It does, and I'm really proud of those young people, the whole staff, regardless of age. But we have every year, the lifeguards are teenagers. If you take a look, the counter staff, the concessions, these are kids. And you're right, most of them are on their first job, and they work very hard. They're out there in the heat, in the sun. They're learning responsibility. They're learning how to deal with the public, and that's interesting sometimes. It's a key cog in the growing up process, in these young people getting out there and starting to become young adults. And to be clear, we can't run the place without them. You got to have lifeguards. Who do you think that is? Right? So very commendable. So many families who've had young people working in that aquatic center and just in the parks in general. And thank you to those kids and to their mentors, parents, whoever it was, that instilled the work ethic and encouraged them to apply, made sure they got the training so they know what they're doing as a lifeguard and can do that work, because it's a critical component. And they're doing a great job down there.
Can you give us an update on Panorama Estates?
I can, yep. So, as was stated many times, when the new developers agreement was drafted and enacted, it stated that the next building, Building 2, would break ground no later than June 15th. And if you drive up there, you'll see that did not happen. I'm not going to get deep into this other than to say the city has language in the agreement that protects the city's interests, and that we are absolutely adhering to the language of the agreement, and that the builder knows that. I'll leave it at that. I will also say that the builders have been forthcoming They're available and communicating with us, and what they told me is they had a late change necessary in their state-approved plan, the blueprint, for the building, that their engineer caught an issue in what they proposed for the foundation, and that they needed to submit the revision to the state for approval, and they've done that, and they're waiting for the revised plan to get approval from the state. It is illegal to to break ground without that, and their intent is to have that within the next few weeks, and then to meet with city officials. That would be the Director of Public Works, that will be all of the department heads from utilities, that'll be the building inspector, to make sure correct permits are in place, that the building plan is fully understood by everyone who will need to be a participant. And then once that's done, they'll be ready to break ground, and their anticipation is around the 1st of August to break ground, which they've communicated to us at the city, and we've distributed that information to the appropriate people, the department heads, the building inspector, and so on. When we have more to say, we will say it. I will repeat one more time. The city has language in the builder's agreement that protects the interests of the people.
Okay. Yeah, I think we always get, construction things, a lot of times they don't go as planned, and, it sounds like there's a little red tape involved again.
There's a lot of red tape involved when you're building something like that, and understand, again, I've said this before, but in case anyone didn't hear it, so the original agreement called for 3 buildings. The 3rd building wasn't due for several more years. The revision now, buildings 2 and 3 will be built simultaneously, so you understand that you got building plans for 2 buildings. They're 45 units apiece. They're not little. There's all kinds of logistical things, getting equipment in place, getting labor in place, all the materials in place, the permits pulled, make sure the infrastructure is right for water, sewer, electric, working through the project with the building inspector. It isn't just, okay, start, and then Tracy comes back at the end and says it's good. He's going to be heavily involved. So it's a huge undertaking, yes. But on the plus side for our community, instead of building 2 and then years later building 3, this plan spelled out in the agreement is building 2, and as soon as the foundation is completed on building 2, begin the foundation for building 3, so that the 2 buildings are built at the same time. And that's going to bring, actually I said it wrong, 46 units apiece, 92 new apartments online when they're done. I think they told me it's about a 14-month build, 13, 14 months. I mean, it's a big deal to get them up. So obviously we're more than eager to get them started, and we are in frequent communication with the builder.
That's been one of the calls we get at the radio station. People lots of times will call here to see if we're kind of the information hub or whatever. The other one is, what happened to Taco Bell? And people are just realizing now that, hey, there's no building there.
Well, okay. Whether you're hearing this live on the air, listening to it later, or watching it through Facebook or YouTube, please do this a little sooner, because this was publicly reported multiple times, honestly. Mm-hmm. You don't need the rumor mill. The rumor mill is not accurate.
Well, we talked to the project manager, came right over, and so I was able to ask him, because, there's lots of rumors that it's going to be maybe KFC's coming back or whatever, and he said, no, it's Taco Bell, and they do serve chicken at Taco Bell, is what he told me.
Well, it's funny, because I've been asked if it's just Taco Bell, if it's true that Arby's will be joining them. No, sorry, because I wouldn't mind that.
Nor A&W.
No A&W. Yep. It will just be Taco Bell, as it was before. What they did is they tore down the existing building, and for those of us of a certain age, what was originally KFC opened in 1979, if you want to know how old that building was, is 46 years old. So it was built for a different time and era, and had a great bit of indoor seating and a single drive-through lane. Well, look what the world is now. More people than not never go inside. They do the drive-through deal, and so they're building a more modern facility on the same spot. And what was Taco Bell will be Taco Bell when they open. I don't know how long it'll take, but if you're watching, I mean, you are right next door. Mm-hmm. It didn't take long to tear it down.
Now, he said grand opening, they thought October 1st.
Yeah, there you
so
go.
We'll see.
I just heard in the fall.
In the fall,
So
yep.
okay, that makes sense. I mean, and they can't, just like we just talked about with Panorama, you can't really pinpoint a date till you get there because you never know, weather-related this, labor that, supply chain, whatever. We all learned that during COVID. So I don't have a date, but sometime this fall, Taco Bell will be back. And it's so funny. People are great. I get a kick out of human nature. There are people losing their minds because they can't get a chalupa. I mean, calling me really, hey, man, I really missed that. Is it absence makes the heart grow fonder?
It does.
It's really something. I saw Henry Bray was wiping tears.
He's been grief counseled, so.
Yeah. Don't worry, Taco Bell shall return
Right.
in its original location.
Just like I've got a hankering for a blizzard, but what do you do?
Yeah, don't do that to me.
So what else is in the rumor mill, Mayor Todd?
Oh, this one just floors me because I thought we'd put it to rest. An individual was talking to my sister without realizing that he was talking to my sister a couple of days ago, and he announced with some conviction that the reason Dollar Tree doesn't have freezers is because Walmart complained to the city and we forbade them, and that is just beyond lunacy. I don't even want. I mean, if I'm going to say the words Mom taught me not to use. That's how ridiculous this is. So folks, that's such nonsense. And not only did we not prevent them from putting freezers in the store, in original consult, the engineers told city utilities they would be putting freezers in the stores, so Scott Gold and City Electric made sure that building is supplied with adequate electric power to support freezers. The company, Dollar Tree, made the decision not to put freezers in. To be honest with you, I don't know why they didn't. We thought they were going to do that. So nobody at the city had any conversation with Walmart ever about what went on in Dollar Tree on any level, freezers or otherwise. Color of the carpet, who cares? Ever. They have no influence over what went on down there, and nobody at the city ever once, under any circumstances, told anybody at Dollar Tree they couldn't put freezers in that store. They just made a decision not to do it, and I don't know why they did it. Remembering that it was during COVID, could have been supply chain related for all I know. I don't know. I'm sure they just ran the numbers and for whatever reason pivoted. That never happened. I hadn't heard that one in probably 2 years, and it is back at least once. So stop. If you are getting what you think is news, I don't know, did you hear it from the mayor? Did you hear it from the city administrator? Did you hear it from the city council president? The people who actually do this and are there and involved. If you did not hear it from the mayor, the administrator, the city council president, a member of the city council, maybe Scott Gall, the utility manager, why are you believing what you heard? We are the ones who do this. We are the ones in the meetings. I come down here once a month and tell everybody what we're working on. All of these meetings are open to the public. You could come down and participate in public comment and let us know what's on your mind, rather than showing up at some event in town and accidentally telling my sister with conviction that something that never even had a chance to happen is fact. It's not fact. Don't do that. Thanks.
Yeah, well, appreciate your transparency.
Right? I mean, that's why I'm here, guys. That's why I do this once a month. That's why the meetings are open to the public. That's why Rod Perry films every plan commission meeting and every city council meeting and puts them on YouTube. That's why Ben Kels is here filming this. That's why they get shared on Facebook, so that you can see it and hear it for yourself. And it amazes me in 2025 with this much access to information that people will hear it just from somebody, and that's good enough. It isn't good enough, and if you're spreading it, you're part of the problem. Knock it off. Have a nice day.
Some other things, other kudos or anything you wanted to say, Mayor Todd?
Yeah, 2 more things I want to share today, Phil. The first one is, in case the public doesn't realize this, in recent years, both the Richland Locker and also Los Amigos received grants from the state with the help of the city that helped both businesses expand. And now the next one coming will be for what a lot of people know as the old Gables Restaurant building. So sounds good. Looks like it's going to happen to get that project moving faster and completed. I will leave it to the owners to share their intent, but I know who the people are who own it, and I know their intent is to launch a new business in that facility, and with the help of economic development, which is Jason and Darcy down at the city building, with the help of the city council, the plan commission, and Administrator Oliphant, a lot of folks. It's a team sport. We've worked with these folks and with a couple other state agencies and regional agencies, and it looks like that's going to go. So I'm hopeful for that, very excited for the people involved, that this should help lead to another new business in town.
Well, it's awesome. Again, another building is going to be restored.
And well, what are the options? Tear it down.
Right.
And that building, I've seen a photo of it from 1930. So, yeah, and there's obviously a lot of history there. If Marcia Mahatka and or Melinda Jones are listening, and I'll bet they are, their family members ran that restaurant for a long time. And that there are a lot of people. I was in there many times as a kid, and on down the line. So yeah, in this case, sometimes old buildings can't stay for one reason or another. In this case, it can, and a hardworking local family that has real passion for the community did buy it and started the work and found out about the grant program, got involved. It takes time. It's frustrating because, government doesn't move quickly. But we reached the point where we're here. And I'm excited about that. And, that'll be 3 in the downtown area, businesses that we were able to help. And all the better, right? The more the merrier. Let's go us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, right. Other kudos. There's some people helping behind the scenes once in a while, maybe some unsung heroes.
So there's so many. And I'm going to try to do something like this every month because I got a little heavy a few minutes ago about the rumor mill. I don't apologize, but I will say this. I try my best to experience and share with people every day things like gratitude and empathy, right? Those are the keys to life, always have been. Find the things to be grateful for because we all have them. If nothing else, we have the day. Another opportunity, right? You're still here. But if you look for them, you can find the positives in your life, and they're there. And so gratitude, I think, is probably the most important element of life. And then empathy, because not everybody will see it your way and agree with you, whatever. That's fine. That's just people living. And so trying to find the common ground and then find the way through. And you have to be able to do that to get anywhere in life. And so what I'm going to try to do going forward is just mention some of the people who aren't in the headlines because they're not elected to a committee or they don't own a prominent business or what have you. They're not in the public eye. Okay, Danny Zad Brazil, I know you're out there. I'm going to give some real kudos here to a tireless individual who works alone in the Richland Center Cemetery. I believe he may be branching this out to at least one other local cemetery. What Danny does, and it's just a passion. It's just something he thinks should be done. He'll take a garden hose and several cleaning agents into the Richland Center Cemetery several times every summer. I can't guess how many hours. Nobody sees him. Nobody gives him anything for doing it. Nobody puts his picture in the paper. He's over there cleaning headstones. And I don't mean a little bit. Some of these things, some of them are, over a century old. Much more than that in some cases. And they weather and they age. They're out in all of the elements, right? And he'll go over there and clean them. And in some cases, he made them look a lot better. And in other cases, the transformation is simply remarkable from what was to what is. And understand something. Danny never met these people. These are people that passed years, decades, generations before his own birth. He'll never know them. In most cases, he doesn't know their living relatives if they have them. And he doesn't care. He just sees a stone that could use some attention and some love. And he goes over there with some real determination, with true conviction. And he stays until it's clean. And if that's a half hour or 4 hours. And he's not noticed that most people hearing this never heard it before. Because he didn't do it so people would come down here and say he did it. The reason I'm saying it is because I'm moved by it. because I'm touched by it. I see him because I live. The reason I found out is I live near the cemetery, okay? And I saw him, and I didn't realize what he was doing. And the first time I heard it, I just asked him what he was doing, and he told me this. And there are some people that have done things like purchasing hoses and purchasing cleaning agents for him and things like that. But understand something. He's not doing it for any money. He's not doing it for any recognition. He simply believes that it's the respectful, decent, right thing to do to sort of honor the memory of those who came before us. And again, he doesn't know them. He doesn't know there are people that are still around. And he doesn't. It's not why he did it. He'll just see one that's hard to read and try to make it better. Or he'll see one that's just a little dirty, got a little stuff growing on the side. It happens. It'll clean it off and make that stone, if not look brand new, awful close. And imagine the effort that takes on a stone that maybe says 1923 on it. That's tremendous effort. So Danny Zadrizel, a lot of folks in town know who he is. Shake his hand. Tell him thanks, because that's a great example of a local person that just had a sort of a passion, a cause that no one recommended. It just sort of came to him as, that could be better. And he made it better just because. It's just for the purpose of making it better. He did that and does that every summer. And I've seen him out there these really hot days that we just experienced. He was out there.
That's hard work.
It's hard work in the sun with no fanfare, which isn't the point. Again, Danny didn't do it so that I would tell you he did. He didn't ask for anything. He does it because he believes in it. But nonetheless, that's hard work. And it's you talk about selfless. Here, person I never met, hey, I bet you were really interesting, really cool. I bet people loved you. That stone could use some attention, and I'm here. Don't worry about it. I got you. And that's what Danny's doing over there. And I just think people should know that things like that go on in this community where there wasn't money in it, there wasn't fame in it, there's not a hidden agenda to get something down the line. It's just, I think that could be better, and I think I know how to do it. I will, and he does. Thank you, Danny Zadrizel. Way to go, Danny Z.
Let's talk about budget season. You're kind of getting into that, aren't you?
Yeah, here it comes.
Here it comes.
Yeah. So here we go. As we get through summer into late summer, early fall, you will please understand your city, your county, townships, school boards, districts, all of us have to plan the budget and pass the budget for next year. And what I'm saying this for is, two reasons. I want to make sure no one gets caught by surprise. Things are tough. I'm not scaring anyone. It's nothing to get freshly alarmed over. But understand something. Inflation that ran so hot in all of our households and in all of our businesses. Well, obviously, the city, the county, the schools, we all pay bills too. That means it affected all of us as well. And we have to work within with very tight state guidelines of what can and can't be done to fund a municipality. And you have to know in a rural area that doesn't just have new construction fall on you. We're not Madison, we're not La Crosse, and so forth. Growing the tax base at the rate inflation just ran, it just isn't likely. And state law calls for that to grow the money you've got to get new construction. There's no gray area in that. To grow that general fund, you've got to get new construction. So when you get hot inflation in a place that gets as much construction as it can attract, but is never going to blow up, we're not going to be La Crosse next year. It leads to difficult choices. So that's what all the referendums are about that you see on the TV all the time. People think schools do referendums, and they do, but do you realize the city of Madison did it? Reedsburg, Baraboo, Wanakee, all these places, whether it's the school, the village, the city. I heard a representative in the city of Madison say that city is facing a $31 million budget shortfall. Okay, that's not apples to apples. City of Richland Center doesn't spend $31 million a year. But think about that. That's Madison singing the blues, screaming out loud. We better have some special meetings. What are we going to do? Because they just went to referendum. How many times are you going to do that? Okay, so what I'm telling you is your schools, your counties, your townships, your cities, your villages are all in the same boat. It doesn't matter where you are. It's not a Richland Center thing. It's not a Richland County thing. I spent half a day recently with the mayor of Viroqua, Mr. Justin Running, who's always been very gracious with me, and we share ideas and we talk about what's going on in our cities, and they're facing the same issues. When he listed what they're working on, it's exactly what we're working on. They talk about an aging population. They talk about less kids in the schools with lower birth rates. They talk about the need to attract young families, to grow the tax base so they can keep the bills paid, and the tension they're all living with to try to make sure it's we're all in the same boat. Believe that. So what I'm saying is, all of the elected entity, the boards, bodies, policy-making bodies, school board, county board, city council, village boards, and so on, have very difficult choices on their hands, because what are you going to do? Well, cut services. We don't have as much cash laying around, so let's do less things. That's not going to go over real well. Raise taxes. I'll pause. Well, the crowd goes crazy out there, right? Nobody wants to hear that, right? Okay, so for the protection of the taxpayer, about 15 years ago, I don't remember if it was 09 or 10, the state enacted legislation that froze the levy limits so that a city, a county can't just go, let's vote and raise that. They're frozen. And to get more money, the point is to encourage growth, grow your tax base. You have to get what they call net new construction, and the levy limits are frozen, which puts you in a position of, well, we got a few new things built this year because we're rural and we're doing the best we can, but okay, we're still working. Man, how much more is the health insurance for the employees? How much is a squad car now? How can it be that much more than 3 years ago? That's real, guys. The fire department bought a new fire engine in 2020, and I think we paid, if I'm off $1,000 or $2,000. I think we paid $632,000, which they'd saved for years, and we didn't have to raise taxes or borrow money. $632,000 5 years ago. The estimated cost of the same piece of equipment now is around $1.2 million. Just as an example, I mean, wow, what do you do, right? Exactly. So you go to referendum, ask the people to voluntarily raise their taxes again. If they believe in it, they'll do it. Ithaca schools went through this. They got it. Weston schools went through it. They didn't. That's reality. That's democracy. Bring it to the voters. I believe in that. But understand, nobody, no entity, no school, no city, no county wants to do a referendum. It's divisive. It's difficult. I mean, no, but you might have to. Okay, if you get it, now be transparent with the people. This is the money we need. This is what we got. This is what we use it for. Or we didn't get it. What do we cut? Okay, you can borrow money. Obviously, there's limits to that. And only so much money available to do that with, for good reason. But again, I mean, borrowing money, short-term borrowing, means it gets paid back probably that year. Well, that's a pretty significant tax increase for a year. And it just covered a year, because you're going to have the same budget shortfall next year if you didn't find a better way to either cut what you're spending or raise more money, which means borrow it again, which then holds taxes at that higher level. So this is complex. It's a true challenge to rural communities. One thing I favor, and believe me, Sarah Kieski and Tony Kurtz have both heard this from me, counties can do a half a cent sales tax. Richland County has one. So you spend $1, your tax is a half a penny. Not impactful to anybody in a day, in a year, really, in any individual. I wish the city could do that. We're not allowed by law. The reason I favor a half a cent city sales tax isn't just, here's the money, do what you want. What I would do is tie it to roads, because streets are critical. They're very expensive, and they're mandated by the state, and they should be. A government has to take care of the roads. They should. It's infrastructure. It's critical need. But they're terribly expensive now to pave, to put in curb and gutter. And if they said, here's a half a penny, you have to use it for roads. Good, because then when next time you have a big project that can't wait any longer, you don't have to borrow the money and cause a tidal wave. Or you don't have to go to referendum and say, well, we're doing everything we can. Guys, do you want to raise your own taxes today? You could simply do that. A half a penny on $1. So you spend $2 and it costs you a cent. That would work. And I don't think it should just be put it in your general fund, find a use. It should be something like streets are mandated, you have to use it for that. I know there is some support for it in Madison. I don't know how much yet, but there is some. Because we've got our people, which right now, I mean, I'm going to give some credit here to Howard Markline, who was our senator for a long time, because he and I talked about this several times too. But right now, Sarah Kieski and Tony Kurtz, they hear that. They hear it from every mayor they talk to, from every county board chair they talk to. You can't miss it. When you get into the rural areas especially, we're doing all we can to get construction out here, but it's just harder to do. Than a metro center is going to have. So that's an idea. And one other reason I favor that approach. If you raise property taxes in your city, you're going to the same people again for more of their money. At least a sales tax would also be paid by our visitors, by people driving through, filling up the gas tank, or pulling through a drive-through for food or whatever. So we don't have to go to the 5,114 city residents for 100% of that money again. This time we're going to get some of the help from people just coming here. So then the work we're doing to grow tourism can directly pay off in that fashion. I just talked about how many people come into the aquatic center, how many people that are coming to the Starlight 14 and on down the list, the kayak, the river, and all the things they do out here. Whatever they did would contribute to our local infrastructure. Well, why not? They're using it. Just an idea. I don't know where it's going to go. I know some of our state legislators are working on that. And just to the more immediate picture, budget season is right in front of us. I encourage everyone, don't wait until the budget is passed to express yourselves. Get a hold of your alderpersons, of your county board rep, of the city or county administrator. In the city, call me if you want to. Get a hold of the hired administrators and the elected people in your city, your village, or your township. Ask them questions before the budget is passed. Give your input. I really like this. I'm not a big fan of that. Before the budget is passed, because once it's done, nobody can change it. It's there, and you're going to live that year. And I know every year when we have, these are all publicly posted open meetings, and we do multiple meetings leading up to the budget, and then the night we pass it, it's its own session just to pass the budget. And in at least the last 3 years, I don't remember a single resident attending the meeting when we're actually telling you what millions of dollars are going to be spent on that year. Please get a hold of your alderperson, of the city administrator, of myself. If in the county board chair, Dave Turk, or the new administrator over there, Trish Clements, get a hold of your village board, get a hold of the school boards, and ask questions before the budgets are approved, and give your input, again, please, before the budgets are approved, because you need to understand, I don't care where you live, it's a tough time right now for municipalities to keep things running, provide the services that everyone needs, and keep that budget balanced. Limited funds on the heels of red-hot inflation. So now is the time to make yourself heard, make your want list known before the votes are taken.
Good stuff, Mayor Todd. We appreciate it. We hope you have a good summer. You got any big concert plans this year?
Just one. It's a Labor Day weekend in Milwaukee. Billy Idol and Joan Jett.
Yeah,
Kimmy and I are classic rockers from day one. I like some country artists for sure, and I love some country songs for sure, but on a whole, it's not my favorite genre. Sorry. Sitting in WRCM. So
we play a little bit of the weekends.
Play on the weekends that day. I think those were the days.
Yeah, believe so. Yeah.
Been on a year or two. How long?
1986.
1986.
Next year will be 40 years.
Yeah, I was 19 years old.
Yeah. I'm playing some oldies that were newies and weren't even born.
Yeah, right. So, bands we never heard of when you started.
Exactly.
So Billy Idol and Joan Jett in Milwaukee, and I do have fun listening to my peers, my friends that are my age that'll travel so far. Goes AC/DC was out. I think they still are. And there's people our age that love them and never saw them yet. Well, hey, man, look at the calendar. It's 2025. Ozzy Osbourne just did his final live performance.
Yes.
Can't stand up anymore when he performs,
right.
But he still sang it. And if you're into that sound and that classic rock, era. Yeah, it's 2025. Don't look now, right?
Yeah, you better see them while you can.
Yeah, so I'm doing that one with Kim. That was actually her birthday present. Birthday's past, and then the concert's when it is, but that's what you got to do. We'll have a good time at that, and everybody get out there. There's so many things going on, so many festivals and music events and everything else that happens in the summer. Go ahead and kayak the Pine, walk our trail. We've got trails all over the place now, just everywhere. Get your bicycle down the bike trail, get the UTV out. If you don't know how to get from Richland Center to almost anywhere in southwest Wisconsin legally in a UTV, call me, because I probably do. My wife and I have mapped out almost this entire part of the state. I can get you to the Mississippi River in a UTV if you want to go see Prairie du Chien, all this kind of stuff. Enjoy southwest Wisconsin. I love the driftless region for its natural beauty. Go see it.
Sounds good. Mayor Todd Coppernoll from the city of Richland Center, our guest here on this portion of the morning show from WRCO.